Welcome everybody to Rockland Park Department meeting on Wednesday, October 28th at 6:32 p.m. Top of the agenda is minutes for September, which I'm sorry I didn't get out to everybody, but I will catch up with that with the next meeting. Wasn't a lot to go on. This agenda is kind of short. We don't have a lot going on due to the COVID. We don't have much to report. Permit and field issues should basically cover everything we need to talk about. I'll bring everybody up to date. Baseball is all done. They finished last weekend. Soccer is finishing this weekend. They're all done. Youth football never got off the ground to do anything. They had one practice and that was it. And just as a side note on football, I talked to them about cleaning out the sheds down on the oval before the weather gets bad, because before you know it, March and April will be here and they're going to come down. So I reached out to them to clean out their sheds and get their materials out of them so we don't have a problem. Let's see what else. Softball, I think softball played a few practices, but not a lot. And other than that, the fall season, high school had soccer, cross country. We know it's all on hold right now. They get another week of shutdown. Whether they continue after that, we don't know. There was talk of trying to get, I guess it's one more track meet on November 7th, and they're trying to get that in, but I haven't heard anything as far as what they're going to do. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with them. Other than that, that's about it. There's not a lot going on out there as far as permit wise. As far as field wise goes, Pete's been keeping up with the grass, and he's been redoing the stadium, resodding it, getting the dips taken out, and I'll let him talk on that. Pete?
Yeah, no, we've been plugging away in between. It's tough with the weather with the raindrops, but we've been pushing any day we could get out there. We've been getting out there. We took, I bet, 8 truckloads off that diamond, believe it or not, between there and the plate. But it's looking real good. It's coming out real nice. It's going to be spot on come spring, whether football or baseball or both playing on it. So hopefully we'll make it weather-wise. But it's looking good.
All right. Anything else you want to add to fields and permits, Pete?
No, just other than the cross country, I guess, was real happy with their new location down running through Hartford Park. I don't know if the neighbors are too happy on Hartford Street, but I know the kids enjoyed the course through the woods for a change instead of the roads. So that was a plus.
Oh, well, we get the new property taken out. Maybe they can do a better path through there and work on it with them,
Yeah. Eventually, I would like to see on all those walkways out in the woods, and the wider ones, some processed gravel laid down to be a little safer for them running. But that's down the road. We'll keep picking away at it.
Yeah. While we got Hartford Park, just maybe think of something. I got an email and a couple phone calls today. And Pete, you know about this. They're having a problem with homeless people up at Hartford Park, and they've been out in the woods.
I took a ride out with Nick Zioli today. Nick called me up and said, you know where they are? And I said, yeah. So we took a ride out, and we actually found a new tent that they put out there up on a hill a little further away from where their old tent was. And myself and Nick went up to the tent. He shook it, said, Rockland Police. And he did peek in there, and they are definitely living in this big tent. It's a new tent. You can see their clothes on one side, food on the other side. But now the issue becomes whose land it is, as far as us being able to post no trespassing. We can post no trespassing signs at Hartford, but that the land where they are, I believe, it's not owned by the town. That I know.
Right.
It's either owned by there's 2 other parties that could own it. they would have to approve of posting it.
Right. But I did get no trespass notices sent to me today, which I have to sign and get back to the police. If they get them on our property, they're gonna get them for no trespassing on our property. That would, because they've been hanging out up at the groves by the pool, up by the water, up by the bathhouse. And
Right.
they've been hanging out there. So we're gonna get them trespassed for Hearts of Park. You know, it just helps, keeps them from hanging. They can cut through or go a different way, go through the woods or whatever. No one will see them. But at least we're gonna get them trespassed for Hearts of Park once we can get a hold of them.
Yeah.
So I just want to let everybody know
What's our guy up there doing? What's our guy up there doing about it? What's our security guy doing about it up there?
It's during the day while he's at work that they see him, and
Okay.
he's out there, like Pete said, they're out in the woods, and they're probably not on town property. Because our property doesn't go that far up over that. Once you go up the hill after the end of the pond, that's about it. Everything else behind there is like 2 or 3 landlocked owners that own that property. So it's not really our property. He can't go out there, and no one's going out there and chasing him around anyway.
Kenny Morose has called me though on 2 different occasions on them walking through. I believe both times it was weekends when he was home, and he did call me saying, "I just saw them walk through," and I said, "Thank you."
But they're walking through. They're not really hanging, but there's been some Girl Scout troops using up there for their meetings. And when they get up there on Thursday afternoons between 4 and 5 o'clock, they're usually up there hanging out, before they move out in the woods for the night. So, but just wanted to let everybody know that that's going on up there. That's all, just so you know, in case you hear anything through the grapevine. Anything else for park permit and field issues? Anything else that anybody wants to bring up? All right, the next.
It's not related to the field. It's not really for this, but is the new mower as advertised? Is it performing the way it's supposed to?
Pete?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The new mower, how's it working out?
Oh, it's unbelievable. We've got 3 different sets of blades. We've got an old set that we use to do the rail trail to cut the small brush down, because we can lift the decks on the side, about 1.5 feet high. And then we've got 2 other sets that we use for the fields. And I've been going down because I'd let the guys continue with sodding, and it would take me it took me an hour and a half to do Eston School twice last Friday, just the one mower. And it's cutting time more than in half. So it's saving a lot of money, labor-wise for sure, and no issues with it at all yet. We've been washing and waxing it totally, constantly.
Steve, last Monday, Pete went out, not this past Monday, following week, he went out, did Eston School Stadium, the Oval, and Bicentennial all in one day.
Yeah, I don't even think it was the whole day.
It sounds like one of those scenarios you get what you pay for. So that's good news.
Yeah, we made out with that deal. All right, the only other thing on the agenda is the Rockland Athletic Club. They wanted to come in and let everybody know something that they want to get in the works for next season. So I'll let Tom Roach go ahead and go with it. Tom?
I'm going to go first, Rich.
All right.
I have to step down as commissioner at this point, abstain from any part of this conversation. So I'm going to hand this over to Tom Roach and John Coletti to explain what we're looking for. So Tom, take it away.
All right, thank you. I want to say first, thank you to the park commissioners and the park superintendent for allowing us time to bring this proposal. I want to take a moment to explain the present Rockland Athletic Committee, or club rather. It was reformed in 2003 with the resurgence of American Legion baseball. And at that time, it was comprised of American Legion Baseball in Rockland and Cranberry League Amateur Baseball, the Rockland Cardinals. So our mission at that point in time was to have a high level of baseball in town, which we did, and we continued it. And then the thought process became we'd like to keep them all under one roof. So the Rockland Athletic Club absorbed the 3 teams, which were the 2 American Legion baseball teams and the Cranberry League Baseball Cardinals. For the past 18 years, we have done this. In 2011, we decided to move forward to become a 501c3 organization. And the idea was then, and remains now, to bring affordable baseball to Rockland and the surrounding towns. So over time, as we went on with these few years, we, especially with the Cranberry League baseball teams and the Cardinals, we saw a need for an increased development of college baseball level players, or college level baseball players. And then combined with talking with numerous college coaches who cited the same needs for better improvements in the way they attack the game and their skills, we decided we'd like to develop a college developmental league, and here on known as the CDL. And I'd like to read that mission just so we make it clear to everyone what it is. Our mission is to work with high school players entering a college baseball program, a freshman and sophomore baseball players already in college baseball program. The intent is to further develop their skills by guaranteed playing time, increased repetition, enforcing quality play and instruction, and to hone their skills for college playing and beyond. Other goals are to develop mental skills to understand the job, each at bat with plate discipline, and also master the routine play on defense by ensuring enough playing time at game speed. And that's the key there. Experienced and quality coaches will provide skill days weekly, a high-level coaching on game days to improve players with the 5 basic tools of baseball. So that's the mission. What is needed from the Rockland Park Department, I'll turn that over to John Coletti, and he'll explain what the needs are that we're asking for. John?
Thanks, Tom. Gentlemen, thank you for having us on this meeting. What we're looking for as far as the CDL goes, plain and simple, is the use of the stadium 4 days a week. The CDL will be a 4-team league consisting of the players that Tommy had described. We're looking for roughly Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Ideally, we'll have two games a day. First game would be roughly starting at noontime with a 2-hour time limit or 7 innings, whichever happens first, giving time for the second 2 teams to come onto the field, do their prep work, their IOs, that kind of thing, and then that game being played. The season will start roughly on or about June 1st, lasting for 8 weeks. Then that will include a playoff as well. There will be roughly 20 players on each team. I think I've hit on basically everything. If you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them at this time.
I'll defer to Rich on this as the field guru. How does this butt heads with the other groups we have up there, Rich, if at all?
Well, I had a conversation with Tom Roach about, he gave me a heads up and gave me the basic layout of the whole thing. And like I told him, I says, we don't know. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID. We don't know the high school schedule yet. I mean, right now, tentatively, the high school schedule can go to the end of June. You know, it's kind of hard to say. It's a, you know, because we don't know what the high school. I told them the high school would be there 5 days a week, Monday through Fridays, and they'll be there every afternoon. You know, if they have school, if they go. You know,
Gentlemen, if I could.
yeah.
So ideally, we understand that this is highly unlikely to happen for the 2021 season. What we're actually looking for, the reason we're here tonight, is for the 2022 season. Understanding full well that with COVID and the question marks that there are, that it's virtually undoable for this coming year. We've discussed it, and we're willing to work with the town and the other teams and leagues any way that we can to make this work.
Right. And I agree. I think it can be worked out. I think there can be stuff done. Again, there's just a lot of, as we all know, there's a lot of unknown factors sitting out there right now. And to say, you know, a year away, yeah, I think hopefully things are better and that we can move forward and we can definitely, you know, get it going. Because it gives us a year. It gives us a year to work with everybody else too that would be involved. You know, it gives us time to work with schedules and move people around and do stuff like that.
What about manpower, Pete?
Well, the good thing about, from talking with Tommy briefly and Joe and Rich, you know, the good thing about it is the game's happening during the day, which kind of helps out, as opposed to going into the night and all that, you know, what we've been going through. So we should be fine with that. But again, we don't know what's going on with anything right now because of the COVID. But the day games wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't come into play. Wouldn't affect us in any way.
Well, it really would. I mean, and believe me, I'm all for it. It sounds like a great idea, but it is going to affect. If they're having games at noon on a Monday and 3 o'clock on a Monday, I mean, you've got to plan your scheduling around that to not be up there. So, I mean, it's certainly doable, but I think it needs to have a little plotting, if you will, to you know, make sure that you're not getting affected too much and you guys are getting bounced from doing that work.
Right. No, I agree. I'm sure there'll be some hiccups because there's going to be a lot of times when we get rained out a couple of days in a row, well, everybody does, and then we're going to have to get on that field to cut it and prep it and dry it. So there'll be some hiccups, I'm sure. But again, if we're looking into the next year, it's good. We're talking about it now at least.
John, how many teams are you saying? 14?
4 teams.
Four teams, just 4?
Yep.
20 persons.
It's similar to a program that the Newport Gulls that are part of I believe the NECBL. The NECBL didn't happen this past summer, so the Newport team ran a 4-team league that worked out very well for them and the players that were involved. But it was all encompassing in terms of college players. But the majority of those players were juniors and seniors.
Okay. I mean, like I said, and Pete said it too, we're looking at a year away. At least it gives us time to work out the bugs. Because, you know, as we know, this year, cramming 5 teams into the stadium for a month was hectic. It was like every day there was something going on there. Now you're adding 4 more teams into the mix. So you get 9 teams on one field. It's a lot of playing on there. I mean, my hope is that baseball gets off all right and starts April and, you know, gets done, at least for this year, gets done by regular season gets done by mid-June like it usually does. and then you got Legion and Cranberry that come in after that. Hopefully, we get back to our normal schedule this year, but we don't know that. Nobody knows that right now. Keep my fingers crossed.
Yep.
So.
Hey, Joe, what about those other talks that we had? Did those ever grow any legs or no?
No, they haven't. I've had at least 5 to 6 people of interest. I still have one out there, and he hasn't reached out because he's in his football season down in Georgia, I believe it is. So we're hoping to hear from him soon, but everything else is falling apart because of the Rocks. All the investors didn't want to get involved because of the Brockton Rocks, excuse me.
And right now with the COVID, you can't get your people at the stadium to get your crowds.
Yes, that's why we suspended 2021 and figured we'd go for the 2022.
Yeah,
make it easier on all of us on the field. You, Richie, with the scheduling, and we can work out all the hiccups as we go.
Right. It sounds good. It definitely gives us time to work on it, and hopefully this time next year when it rolls around and we're back to somewhat normalcy, we'll have some idea what schedules are going to be like, and we can get it done. All right.
Yeah, I'd like nothing better. See that field used as much as we can, as long as we don't, stifle our guys a little bit, and to see that quality of play is actually even more exciting. That's fantastic.
Yeah. There's even a way, if I can just add something, there's even a way, because we've discussed it between Tom and Joe and myself. We're planning on doing some internship programs as well with this league, getting guys community service credits for school, things like that. There's a lot of these guys, a lot of college teams actually part of their like student co-op jobs take care of their own college fields. Potentially, we could have them, as long as the park department allows it, help out to alleviate the strain on them being there at the field all the time, doing everything. Now, obviously, I'm talking minor stuff in terms of raking mounds, dragging the field, and lining, to prep before games. So, like, hypothetically, they could do the prep for their games, and if there was a game afterwards, do that as well.
I like that, Johnny.
I knew you would.
So, I don't have a problem with any of this, Steve.
No, again, I just, my two concerns would be, just kind of being in the way, if you will. It's a little bit of a curveball saying we're talking Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. But, so as long as they're not kind of getting in the way of Pete, I'm sure Pete will work around it, but I don't want to, again, stifle his guys too much. And then my only other concern is, and I think you just might have solved it, is, our guys, I don't know if they're required to be there. Are we required to have someone on site at all times with this agreement?
Well, it's during the day, so they're going to be there anyway. So just to have, usually in the morning, they get the field prepped and ready to go for the day anyway. So, but to help clean up in between the two games, that's where the help would probably come in the best,
But what about like locking up after the second game, you're talking probably 3:45.
Well, yeah, and it also depends on high school schedule, little league schedule. You might have games coming in afterwards, which you wouldn't have to, which would, we can work out. And you're right. That's stuff we have to look at, Steve.
Yeah, I just don't, I've heard some grumblings from our guys, more so with the lights and the 10 o'clocks and so forth. But
yeah, we can work all that out. And again, we got a year to go. Who knows what next year is going to bring around,
Yep.
But I'm good with it. If you guys are good with it, you can start your planning and get your, your word out there and do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's what we need to do is plan on putting a website out, which eventually, not this year, but towards the tail end of next year, get that rolling for the 2022 season. Again, there's a lot of good that's going to come out of this as far as creating better ball players and giving the guys that don't get a chance to play guaranteed time. That's the selling point. Guaranteed time to get on the field, work on them skills, where they'd be on the bench, even on the Cranberry League, some of them. So, it just helps out that regard. The field, again, you're right that there may be other teams coming in on after, so lock up and stuff like that will be as usual. And the fees aren't going to change from Legion or the Cardinals. We'll still be doing that, paying the fees. So we're good with it. And this will have a fee also that we pay, the CDL.
Well, then I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to allow them to, to start it. It's a year away. I know there's going to be a lot of work in behind, get it all done and do, but I'll make a motion that allow them to move forward with what they need from us.
There's only two of us, but I'll second it and let's go
Okay.
forward.
All those in favor, there's two of us, you're all set.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you.
And any questions or anything during the off season, don't hesitate to get back to us so we can keep it all moving and, keep the ideas flowing. Like you said, you got a year to go to work on it. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth talking and ideas that we'll throw out there and, work it out.
I walk by your house 3 times a week. I'm sure I'll bump into you.
Sure you will.
All right.
All right. Steve, Joe, that's it for the meeting. My only thing is I was talking to Pete earlier this week. Next meeting, which I'm going to try to do in about 3 weeks, try to do before Thanksgiving. It's that time of year with budgets coming up and town articles for town meeting and stuff. So you guys got any ideas, send them to me, give them to Pete or whatever, and we'll talk about them. I'll put that on the next meeting to discuss town meeting, stuff, budget and articles. Okay, because I know
What
the
did we
few.
make out with that last line of cuts or whatever there, Rich? I didn't see the meeting.
They instead of cutting us the 33, they only cut 11,000. So which basically was the money for the stadium and the rail trail. So, that wasn't too bad.
Well, where do we, I guess, I apologize for not being out there, but where do we stand on the project? I mean, I think the stadium, I did look, the field looks fantastic. The sod looks like it's coming in nice.
Everything, Pete, go ahead.
What we talking about? I can't hear Steve real well. Is he talking about the diamond?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up to you three. The sod, wherever we've patched, it's coming in real quick. It's rooting real quick. I wanted to mention this only because we should, and this is up to the board, start thinking about maybe allowing the high school football to come in, especially even if we're talking, even at a minimum, if they can have their senior night game, because it's rooting, the grass is rooting within 4 days. I've got good green color in the new sod after it's been cut and rolled out.
Well, I mean,
It's just,
go ahead, Pete.
no, it's just something to think about and throw out there, because I know a lot of the seniors got ripped off of so many other things because of the COVID. And like I said, the sod is taken quicker than I thought it would. It's rooting up real quick. We haven't
Right.
shut the irrigation system down either, which is helping. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to have to wait and see what the football season comes, Pete, because what's happening right now, they ain't going to be playing anything.
Well, I know. And
we're gonna have
again, we're looking at February and March when weather-wise, we can't even get out there for baseball most years till, mid-April.
Well, it also depends on how much snow we have, and they don't lift restrictions. 50 people at a game is going to be, I mean, as it is right now, soccer's not allowing any visitors at any games. It's only the the home people, I guess, can go. There no visitors are supposed to travel with the team. It's turned into a big mess from what I've been hearing. But again, we'll hit that bridge when we come to it, depending on the weather and the snow and the rain and whether they even have it. Right now we don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there that the sod is taking nice and quicker than I expected. And, and that was my only concern when we first suggested about regrading and lasering the stadium, that it wouldn't take as good as it is, but it is. So I'm not worried about it getting a little ripped up. It's nothing that we can't fix or nothing we haven't fixed before.
Right. Well, like I said, we'll tackle. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I'm just kind of from a gradiness standpoint, getting caught up quick here. So, as far as the stadium, all the renovations and everything, we closed out money-wise, Joe? And obviously, I think we came in on or under budget, right?
Yes, we came under budget, and that's all done, complete. The only thing right now with the stadium money that we have in the budget, I was looking at new netting and maybe I'm just looking at prices just to get ideas what we're looking at of the padding out in the outfield. It's going to need to be replaced soon, and new netting inside the stadium, protect people from foul balls. And Pete has a couple of things that he wants to do, some heating underneath for the equipment in one of the rooms that he wants to use for painting and welding, I believe. On the surface, the sod, if we do open it up to football, I want to make it clear to everyone that field cannot be plowed, because if we plow it, that's all going to come up. I just want to make that clear now.
Joe, but that's we'll have to tackle that when it happens. But yeah, I agree that you can't plow the field. There's just no way to plow the field. There won't be grass left.
These guys are out there killing themselves. I'm up there every day taking pictures, so we have documentation of for the future. And they're on their hands and knees putting this stuff back, cutting it out, regrading it, putting it back down. They're doing a heck of a job. I would have done it another way, but he's saving us money. But it's always a different way of getting there, and he's getting it done. So it's going to look nice. He's pretty well got the third base side done. He's going to be wrapping up hopefully next week on the shortstop, second base side, and then it's just finishing the first base and second base side. That field was 18 inches high from right field to the infield. It was pretty high. So overall, all these years of trying to take care of that field the best he could, just it comes down to time for these guys to keep up with everything. And he's finding time to take care of all the fields and everything else that needs to be done, rail trail, everything else. And he's getting this done, and he's saving us money.
Okay, great. So I guess I'd have the same question for the building. Where do we are we done with our projects, or where do we stand there?
The project on the garage is completed by the stadium project committee, but we still have the office, the break room, and the bathroom that has to be completed. Pete can speak more on that part. It was taken out of the project, so it never got completed. We're going on 2 years now, I believe. So I don't know where we're going to get the funding. We need wiring, break room, sink, cabinets, just small stuff in the bathroom. Toilet, sink, move the wash station to where it's supposed to have been. So Pete could probably speak on that a little bit more.
Yeah, we do have a building permit up there, an active one. The walls have been built, but like Joe just said, the plumbing and the electrical is going to be the biggest part of it money-wise. And there's certain things we can do, and there's certain things by law that we just cannot do. I think we are allowed to run wire, but we can't go anywhere near, the breaker box and all that. We're gonna have to have an electrician and get a cost estimate on the electrical end of it and also the plumbing end of it. There's not a lot of plumbing to do. I mean, it's basically the toilet and 2 wash sinks. So there's not a lot there to do, but electrical, it's all money. Like Joe said, right now with this COVID, they're taking money away, they're giving it back, they're taking it away. We don't know, we still don't know what's coming down the pike, because all these towns are hurting because of the restaurants not giving them taxes. And so there's nothing that we really know still, and everybody knows this. But that's what's left, Steve, is we still got the electrical and the plumbing to do.
So we don't have really a plan B for funding then, obviously, right now.
No, I mean,
Other than articles for town meeting.
I mean, we could take, electrical wise, as far as cable outlets, things like that, we could take it out of maintenance. That wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't kill us. But to hire an electrician, I don't know what it would cost to chap everything in. Probably not too much. I imagine we could take that out of budget. I mean, it's doable. I don't think we have to go to town meeting an article because it doesn't look too good going that route anyway. I think we should try to take it out of budget, and I don't think it's going to kill us.
So just from but let me ask you, like, toilet breaks at the high school, what do they do about it? Do they have licensed plumbers on staff?
Toilets don't need a really plumbing to replace a toilet. You don't. We're rewiring. We don't have any wires. We have to go into the box and hook it all up. That's where it gets hairy.
So I guess my question is, does the school have any resources as far as licensed people?
No, all outside. All outside.
I just think we got.
I'll reach out tomorrow to the head of school maintenance and find out what can be done through them.
I just hate to see it lingering. I mean, first off, it's a brand new building and we got stuff that's not done. I mean, our guys are working in there in the winter. What are they going to walk across the parking lot to go to the bathroom? I mean, we got to put some thought into our personnel there too, you included.
Yep, you're right.
I think we just need to scrape, claw, and do whatever we need to, ask for favors or, whatever. But I think we should prioritize it because seems like that's the final piece of the puzzle up there for both the stadium and the building projects.
Steve, I was hoping we were going to be able to use the stadium fund money, but they give it back, they cut it, they give it back. You can't plan ahead when they keep taking and giving and taking and giving. With this virus, everyone's doing the best they can with the circumstances, and that's where we're at. So I don't know. I don't know the answers until we get through this virus.
We're completely dried up on A.W. Perry, right? Any residual hanging around there at all?
Oh no, long gone.
Yeah,
long gone.
All right, I just think we need to prioritize it. Like I say, I mean, just to get the damn thing done, it's going to be out of date by the time we get it done. At least for a bathroom for the guys. And
to give you a little bit of info, we even went to VOTEC and they're so backed up with projects we couldn't even get them to come down. So this is going to have to be something Pete's going to have to figure out and get it done and get it accomplished. It is lingering out there, and maybe he can make some phone calls, start working on it, and get it done.
All right, is that it? All right, motion to adjourn.
motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Like I said, next meeting, come back with the articles for town meeting, and if we have any budget information, we'll get it out to everybody. I'm sure that's going to be starting soon. It's November. So.
All righty.
All righty, Dave, thank you, and have a good night.
Welcome,
Everyone be
gentlemen.
safe.
Good night.